Hi, I'm Jana, and today you'll see I'm actually here without Andrea, my trusty sidekick. So you're stuck with just me, and we're talking carbs, specifically carbs for mental health. Unfortunately, in our world, in our culture, in our diet culture these days, carbohydrates have got a really bad reputation, but they're so important and so impactful for helping support a strong mental health. So today I'm going to talk about my top four reasons why we love carbs so much. So, reason number one is your brain, this beautiful organ, it runs on carbs. So it might only take up, 2, 3% of our total body, but on average, it's going to take about 20% of our intake needs. It's a really energy demanding organ. And excuse me, and it runs primarily on glucose, the byproduct of carbohydrates. So, what we need is carbohydrates coming in throughout our day. And you might have noticed in the past that if you accidentally underfueled or intentionally underfueled on carbohydrates, that you felt a bit of that just brain fog creeping in, or you really might have felt, oh, my decision making is tough today, or my memory feels poor. And that might could have to do with other things, but we might want to check back and see if we've actually just had enough carbohydrate to fuel that big, beautiful brain of yours. Okay, so that's reason number one. Reason number two why we love carbohydrates so much is that they're incredibly important for our neurotransmitters. So you've probably heard of serotonin. Serotonin is our feel good chemical. And so it requires carbohydrates in order to start the process of actually making and releasing serotonin in our brain. So when we think about that mood balance and that emotional stability, we're going to want some of that serotonin on board. And so that's going to require that we do have carbohydrate coming in as part of a significant part of our diet. Number three. So, one of my favorites when we start talking about emotion regulation and mood stability is we are talking about blood sugar stability. Now, carbohydrates, part of why they got this bad reputation is because when we have a carbohydrate just by itself, I often think of like, hey, if I had candy or a cookie or just a piece of bread by itself or a popsicle, I'm going to get a pretty quick blood sugar release, right? So I'm going to get that energy release, but it's not going to last me very long. And so unfortunately, that might look like, oh, I've got some energy right now, but then, oh, I crash and I'm often say, I'm like, I'm just collapsed. I feel dead in the corner, right? And so that's not what we want. We don't want really high highs or low lows with that blood sugar regulation. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have carbs, right? Carbs are still those energy givers for us. What we really want to think about is when we do have carbohydrates, am I putting it with something like a filling factor? Am I putting it with something that's going to digest a little bit slower to help it slow down the release of that glucose and that energy into my bloodstream? So I often think, hey, why not partner our foods, right? I think of, I might have that toast, that energy giver, with some peanut butter. Now it's going to last me longer. Or crackers and cheese, right? Or a cookie and milk, right? Lots of things that I can work on to help regulate my blood sugars throughout the day, but it doesn't mean that I have to avoid carbohydrates. It means I want to think about partnering my carbohydrates and I want to think about having carbohydrate coming in a number of times throughout my day. So I'm always having some of that energy coming in, but it's lasting me a little bit longer. Okay. What we know is that, yeah, that helps us with blood sugar stability, but then that helps us with mood stability and energy regulation, which is really, really helpful for our overall mental health too. And the last reason I want to talk about today is actually for your gut microbiome. So, carbohydrates bring with them a wide variety of fibers that help us actually create and sustain a healthier gut microbiome. And that helps us with inflammation, with neurotransmitter production, and overall a healthy gut, which we know does actually support that mental health overall. Okay. So, all I want you to take away from today is, oh, wait, maybe I don't have to be so scared of carbs. Or if I have clients, then maybe I need to check in and make sure that they are eating a variety of carbohydrates throughout their day, every day, because that might be impacting some of the symptoms that they're showing up to my sessions with. So, what I want you to be thinking of is, hey, when I was feeling kind of brain foggy or really just run down and tired the other day, had I had enough carbohydrates? And bonus, what are your favorite types of carbs? because I know I love them all, right? I love a good fresh bread. I love a soft, fresh baked cookie for sure, but I love the good crunch of like a pretzel crisp or anything like that. So all carbs work in my world. There's a way to work with them forever. And I want to hear from you. Do you have a favorite carb? Are they helping your brain function and helping support your mental health?